Your cat greets you when you come home. They sleep near you. They purr when you pet them. And you've probably told yourself that means they love you. But here's the uncomfortable truth that most cat owners never want to hear. Some of those behaviors mean almost nothing. And there are 5 specific signs, hiding in plain sight, that quietly suggest your cat doesn't feel the bond with you that you think they do. This isn't about bad cats or bad owners. It's about understanding what genuine feline affection actually looks like, versus what we've been misreading all along. Animal behavior researchers have spent years mapping the emotional lives of cats, and what they've found is both surprising and a little humbling. Cats are not naturally wired to fake affection. They don't perform closeness out of politeness the way humans sometimes do, which means when a cat is genuinely bonded to you, it shows up in very specific, very deliberate ways. And when that bond isn't there, or hasn't fully formed yet, there are just as specific signs that most owners completely misinterpret. The tricky part is that some of the signs your cat doesn't feel close to you look almost identical to signs that they do. So let's go through them one by one, because once you know what to look for, you'll never look at your cat the same way again. Number 1. They purr, but they never seek you out. The first sign is one that almost every cat owner gets wrong. Your cat purrs when you pet them, and you take that as a clear sign of love. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats don't only purr when they're happy. Cats also purr when they're stressed, when they're in pain, when they're trying to self-soothe, and sometimes simply because they've learned that purring gets them what they want. A purr alone tells you very little about how your cat feels about you specifically. What tells you far more is whether your cat ever seeks you out on their own terms. A genuinely bonded cat doesn't just tolerate your presence, they actively choose it. They walk into the room you're in. They jump onto the sofa beside you when they could have sat anywhere else. They follow you from room to room not because they want food, but because they want to be where you are. If your cat only ever purrs when you initiate contact, but never independently chooses to be near you, never approaches you without a reason, and disappears to another room the moment you stop petting them, that purring is comfort behavior, not connection. It feels like love because it sounds like love, but what you're missing is the seeking. And the seeking is everything. Number 2, they never slow blink at you. The second sign is quieter and easier to miss. You've probably heard that cats slow blink to show affection, and that's true. Research from the University of Sussex confirmed that slow blinking is a genuine positive emotional signal in cats, and that cats are more likely to approach a person who slow blinks at them than one who maintains a neutral expression. But what most people don't pay attention to is whether their cat ever initiates the slow blink unprompted. There's a real difference between a cat who slow blinks back when you slow blink at them, and a cat who occasionally catches your eye from across the room and offers a slow blink completely on their own. The second one is the meaningful version. It's the cat equivalent of someone looking up from what they're doing just to smile at you for no reason. If your cat never does this, if the only soft eyes you get are in response to yours, or only when they're being stroked, it suggests a level of comfort in your presence, but not necessarily a deep bond. And what's even more telling is eye contact avoidance entirely. A cat who regularly looks away quickly when you try to meet their gaze, who rarely holds soft eye contact with you for more than a second, is a cat who hasn't fully let their guard down around you yet. Genuine feline affection almost always involves unhurried, relaxed eye contact. Its absence is worth noticing. Number 3, they never bring their belly near you. The third sign is about vulnerability, and it's one of the most honest signals a cat can give you. The belly is the most physically vulnerable part of a cat's body. Every instinct a cat carries tells them to protect it. In the wild, exposing the belly means exposing the organs. It's something no prey animal does casually. So when a cat rolls onto their back and shows you their belly, they are making an active, conscious decision to be vulnerable in your presence. That is not something cats do for strangers. That is not something cats do around people they merely tolerate. It is one of the clearest physical signals of genuine trust that a cat can offer. Now, and this is important, a belly show is not an invitation to touch. Many cats will immediately grab or bite a hand that reaches for their exposed belly, and that's not a contradiction. The display itself is the gesture of trust. The touching is a separate conversation. But if your cat has never once rolled onto their back near you, if they always sleep curled tightly, always keep their paws tucked, always position themselves so their belly faces away from you, that pattern tells you something. It tells you that around you, their guard stays up. They may be comfortable enough to rest in your home, but they haven't yet decided that you are the kind of presence that makes vulnerability feel safe. That distinction matters enormously. Number 4, they leave the room when you enter. The fourth sign is the one that stings the most when you finally notice it. You walk into a room and your cat gets up and leaves. Not because something startled them, not because they were already on the way out, but specifically, consistently, in response to you entering the space. Most owners explain this away immediately. They tell themselves the cat is independent. They tell themselves this is just what cats do. And sometimes that's true. Cats do value solitude, and a cat retreating occasionally is completely normal. But there is a significant difference between a cat who sometimes wants space and a cat who routinely exits a room when you arrive. A bonded cat does the opposite. A bonded cat gravitates toward you. They may not leap into your lap, but they stay. They reposition themselves somewhere nearby. They choose to share the space with you even when they don't have to. If you pay attention for just a few days and notice that your cat consistently moves away from rooms you enter, avoids being in enclosed spaces with you, and only approaches on very specific terms usually tied to feeding time, what you're observing is a cat who sees you primarily as a provider rather than a companion. And the honest truth is that with patience, consistency, and the right approach, that can change. But first you have to be willing to see it clearly. Number 5, they never groom you or headbutt you. The fifth sign brings us back to something we touched on in a different context before. The way cats communicate affection through physical gestures that are deeply rooted in how they bond with other cats. Allogrooming is the term animal behaviorists use for when cats groom each other. It happens between cats who share a genuine social bond. Littermates, bonded pairs, cats who have chosen each other as companions. When a cat licks your hand, your face, your hair, they are extending that same behavior to you. They are treating you as a member of their social group in the most literal physical way possible. Similarly, the headbutt, or more precisely the bunting gesture, where a cat presses their forehead or cheek against you, is a scent-marking behavior that cats reserve for individuals they have accepted into their inner circle. It is not random. It is not accidental. It is a deliberate act of social bonding. If your cat has never once licked you, never headbutted you, never pressed their face against your hand or your leg without being prompted, that absence is meaningful. It doesn't mean your cat dislikes you, but it does mean they haven't yet extended to you the full vocabulary of feline affection. They may be comfortable. They may be content. But comfortable and bonded are two very different things, and most cat owners spend years not realizing there was a gap between the two. The warm truth. Here's the thing that's easy to lose sight of when you're going through a list like this. None of these signs means your cat is broken, or cold, or incapable of love. What they mean is that the bond between you is still being built, or that something in your cat's environment or history has made trust harder to give. Cats don't withhold affection out of cruelty. They withhold it out of caution. And caution, in a small animal whose survival has always depended on reading their environment carefully, is not a character flaw. It's wisdom. The cats who eventually curl up on your chest, who slow blink at you from across the room, who follow you from room to room for no reason other than that they want to be where you are. Those cats didn't always feel that way. That bond was built slowly, through consistency and patience and learning to speak a language that has nothing to do with words. So if you recognized your cat in some of these signs today, don't feel discouraged. Feel informed, because understanding what your cat actually needs from you is the first step toward giving it to them. And the day they choose to stay in the room when you walk in, the day they catch your eye and blink slowly without being asked, you'll know exactly what it means. And it will mean everything.